local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get to our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. William Rogers is in the house. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, it is a day ending in Y, so we celebrate on Ron Siegel Radio. I look at this celebration list today, and there's some good ones, and there's some that are a little odd. National Dentists Day, National Dress Day. I wonder if Mitchell's got his dress on today. We'll be watching that one. I don't know about National Dress Day. National Frozen Food Day. I think we'll go with... And the only reason I give that one the buzzer is because there are a couple of real strong ones that I see here today. I don't know if there's a vote here. We don't know which way it's going to go. National White Chocolate Cheesecake Day or National Oreo Cookie Day. You know, I could go either way. I like both of those. So we'll just celebrate one way or the other. Talking about celebrating, we're probably not going to be celebrating the Dow Jones Industrial Average, at least early in the day today. We are looking at the Dow Jones Industrials. And they're down about 107 points as we speak right now, down 107. Oil is off 70 cents per barrel. Should we look at what the gas prices are doing, or do we want to just kind of avoid that one? I like to look at gas every once in a while. The midweek price doesn't bother me because I usually fill up on the weekend. But 243.8 is the national average. If we look at Taxofornia, we're probably going to be about 90 cents a gallon more than that. We are at 329.9 in Taxofornia, 329.9. Holy cow, I am looking. There is one part of the country. I got to figure out where this one is. We're at the highest price in the land, $4.20.4 a gallon, 420.4. I'm not, probably, it's got to be up in the Northeast somewhere, doesn't it? I don't, 420.5. I can't even find it, but it says it on the map here. They must have had some sort of a fire or some event to get it at 420.4, but best price in the land, 217.6. Yeah, that's back in Missouri. We watch that one for you on a regular basis. Can you imagine 420? I don't know if I'd like to go there. You know, Taxofornia, we're usually right near the top, so we'll check it out for you. We continue watching those. What's happening in the bond market today? Let's get back to the financials. Bond market, U.S. 10-year Treasury down just a little bit, about 3 basis points, 269 on the U.S. 10-year Treasury. And obviously, I like to watch on a regular basis the mortgage-backed securities, because that is what drives the interest rates for your home loan. Mortgage-backed securities, they are up right now, 8 basis points. We'll give that a little applause. Yeah, we like it when the mortgage backs are up because that means interest rates are down, so that's a benefit to you. If you haven't locked in your loan, you might want to just let it ride for a little bit. No real reason to lock it in right here. We watch that on a regular basis. All the clients that are working with the Siegel lending team, we continue to watch that. We monitor that. We can lock any time 7 days a week for you. But the idea here is try and get you the best price throughout the process, not just when you close. Get it if day 7 is when the best price comes out. Yeah, well, that's when you want to get the pricing locked in for you. Let's check and see what is going on in the news. We get the daily briefing every day. President Trump is still in the news. Do you get tired of listening to him every single day? I mean, he's worse than President Obama used to love watching himself on the news. I think President Trump is worse. Just my personal opinion. But he did speak with reporters at the White House after signing an executive order on veteran suicide prevention. I applaud anything we can try and do to help in that arena. But he said he would not be complying with the current congressional investigations launched by the Democrats. I shared that with you earlier in the week. If I was the president, and no, I will never be the president, I wouldn't run, I wouldn't want the job. But I'd be telling every one of those people, you know something, just take the fifth. Right? Take the fifth. If all of them do the same thing. Now, and I'm all for congressional oversight. I am not for witch hunts. There's a lot of important things to be taken care of in our country. 81 associates getting letters. How'd you like to be one of those folks who has to now go and hire an attorney to represent you to deal with all of these inquiries just because you have an association with the man? I've been there, I've done that, not with the president, but in other instances. The only one that wins in the whole thing are the attorneys. It's not good.
I got a bad feeling about this.
According to a Quinnipiac poll released on Tuesday, a majority of the respondents said they believe that President Trump should not be impeached. Easy for me to say. Poll found that 59% of voters surveyed said Congress should not begin impeachment proceedings against President Trump, while 35% said Congress should do so. Probably that would be the group led by Mad Max. The remaining 6% of Americans said they don't know if Trump should be impeached or not. Younger voters were more likely to say Congress should begin impeachment proceedings. They're probably the same group that voted in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Just throwing that out there because she's going to give away everything to everybody and doesn't want to figure out how she's going to pay for any of it. Paul Manafort fails to accept responsibility for his crimes, according to special counsel Robert Mueller. He told the Virginia judge who will sentence Manafort in a couple of days, Manafort has failed to accept responsibility for his crimes. In the special counsel's response to Manafort's bid for leniency, prosecutors working for Mueller accused Paul Manafort of shifting blame to everyone from the special counsel's office to his Ukrainian clients. Fascinating story right there as well. Let's see what else we've got in the news. You know, I found this one to be fascinating as well. This was an interesting story. Now, again, you have to look at the sourcing. This comes from the Columbia Journalism Review. It's a magazine and an organization at Columbia University. Now, just a guess, Columbia University in New York City, probably a little bit on the left. But they took a poll about trust in media. And the Americans who answered the poll said there is no lower institution in America than the press as far as confidence is concerned. Does that surprise anybody?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
The press is now the least trusted institution in the United States. 1975, right off of Watergate, the press was 80% trusted. Now it's at the lowest ever. Get this one. Democrats, 26% trust the press. Republicans, 5% trust the press. Can't trust a word they say, and unfortunately, I am in that arena. Yeah, you can trust what I have to say because, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't go either way. I tell you my opinion. I'm not a news guy. But think about that. 26% of Democrats will trust the press, 5% of Republicans. It is a shame. Moving right along, you got to love back to Capitol Hill. Michael Cohen returns to Capitol Hill for new closed-door hearings with the House, oxymoron coming, Intelligence Committee. Now, how in the world Adam Schiff and intelligence, they don't go together. You can't even put those two in the same sentence, my opinion again. Unbelievable, but that's who Adam Schiff wants to believe. Now, Adam Schiff, he was a prosecutor and said Trump should go to jail right after he leaves office. Are we missing something here? It's called like a trial, like a conviction, maybe a indictment. Of course, according to Mr. Schiff, you don't need any of those things. Moving on, the U.S. budget deficit widened $310 billion in just the first 4 months of the fiscal year. The budget gap widened 77% compared with the same October to January period a year earlier. The financial shortfalls is set to widen further in coming years as the Republican tax cut, which costs about $1.5 trillion over a decade, and increased spending for defense and other priorities boost government outlays. The CBO, Congressional Budget Office, forecast earlier this year that the budget gap in the fiscal year through September would widen to $897 billion, up from $118 billion from a year earlier. Interesting stuff right there. There's so much more in the daily briefing, but we're going to leave it right there. You can reach me anytime. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, I got a lot to talk about. Two reports say that now is a great time to sell. What are micro loans? We're going to talk about that one as well. Are there or is there an opportunity to still save money on last year's taxes? I don't know the answer, but that's why we're going to chat with William Rogers, because he is the guru when it comes to the taxes. So we'll let him explain that one. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay will be available, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star is the one with the programs, the products for you. Dow Jones Industrial Average now down 135 points. S&P 500 down 1319. 10-year Treasury, the interest rate 2.69, down just a little bit. And that Fannie Mae 30-year bond that we watch is up 9 basis points, which means interest rates are down just a little bit. Now the question comes up, and this is what we always need to be looking at, is not the question of what is going on in these markets. The question is, why is it going on in these markets? And there are some technical reasons for what's going on, but a lot of it has to do with some different reports that are coming out. Obviously, we're starting to catch up on some of the reports from the government shutdown. But we got this morning, the ADP employment report showed that there were 183,000 jobs created in the month of February. It's about in line with expectations of 180,000. January's reading was revised significantly higher by 87,000 jobs, bringing job creations from an already strong 213,000 to 300,000 jobs created in the month of January. Mark Zandi, the chief economist at Moody's, was a bit negative and thinks that job growth is slowing. And we have seen the high watermark for the current expansion, he said. I quote, "The economy has throttled back and so too has job growth. The job slowdown is clearest in the retail and travel industries and at smaller companies. Job gains are still strong, but they have likely seen their high watermark for expansion," unquote. Smoothing out the numbers and looking at his longer term, the 3-month average, 244,000, while the 6-month average, 218,000, 12-month average, 220,000. Overall job growth, it's been quite strong, although not always correlated month to month. This would point to a pretty strong jobs report for Friday. And the sample week that we saw a couple weeks ago, that gave us a good idea of a strong jobs report for this Friday as well. Mortgage Bankers Association reported the mortgage application volume was down 2.5% last week. Applications to purchase a home down 3%, unchanged from this time last year. Finances down 2%, and are now down 6.3% from this time last year. The refinance share of mortgage activity decreased from 40.4% to 40% of total applications. The 30-year mortgage increased slightly from 4.65 to 4.67. And remember, we will get the Freddie Mac number. That's the one that we follow for you most closely. That comes out every Thursday morning, about 7 o'clock California time, if that's of interest to you. We do share that on our social media channels as soon as we get that opportunity. Again, that's the Mortgage Minute today, brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. So it's always interesting to me because one of my favorite things in the entire world is to see how in the world we can disinherit the IRS. So let's chat this morning with William Rogers. He always brings us some good tidbits on things that we can do to maybe minimize Uncle Sam's contributions from us, obviously in a legal way. Good morning, William.
Good morning. Thank you, Ron, for having me.
Certainly. So can we still save money based on last year's taxes?
Well, when you get to, in terms of March, it gets quite difficult. But one of the often what we see overlooked opportunities that kind of happens is that, you see it a lot for people who've already probably done their taxes, TurboTax, or they might have gone to another practitioner that they want to have a look.
Sure.
but they've already filed their taxes. So what can I do to kind of, correct what has already been done? And it's not an amended return. We call it a superseding return. And let me explain.
Superseding return?
Superseding return is by IRS procedure is basically before the natural filing season of April 15th, we can essentially do a do-over.
Oh, okay.
So we basically
mulligan.
Yeah, we mail it in paper. We write in prominent words on the very top of the 1040, superseding. The whole purpose is to replace what is initially filed. Most common is you have someone, they missed a W-2, 1099 came in that they forgot about, but they had hastily prepared their return. But a lot of times, as you're finding is, people, there's a huge do-it-yourself market out there, people utilizing TurboTax, or that they went to another practitioner and they would like, a second look for whatever reason, and as
they didn't get everything back. They want more money back.
They got it back, or a lot of times some things are just reported incorrectly, which can cost money.
Okay.
And it's not always necessarily deductions. It could be treatment of certain items. Take, for example, capital gains, that it was inappropriately reported as short-term and not long-term, or various things like that. Or, certain type of elections or credits going on that the taxpayer could have gotten. So the whole point in just trying to advocate is so that people, don't necessarily get flustered. Before April 15th, we called it supersede and return, which allows us to essentially replace what was initially filed and preserve the person's right for any elections or timeliness that they needed to adhere to, versus an amended return. After April 15th, then it's an amended return.
Interesting. So I'm just thinking about that from a lending standpoint, is that we generally, if it's an amended return, we need both returns.
Right, but a superseding return per the IRS procedure in the Internal Revenue Manual replaces what was initially filed, thus the term superseding, as though it didn't exist.
Interesting. So you just have to hope that just from my own standpoint, I would say even though the law says one thing, keep both.
Correct.
Right? Just because... Not that I would think that they might make errors in the IRS, but when they if you have to get a 4506, a tax transcript, and it comes back and it doesn't match, a lender's going to look at it and say, hey, this doesn't match, what's going on here?
Oh,
then you say,
definitely.
okay, here's one and here's the other, and then you let the underwriters deal with it. So make sure you keep both of them.
Yeah, most definitely. I always advise in terms of that.
Makes sense. Okay, so there are still some, we can do that superseding return.
Prior to April 15th, that's what we call when we have to correct certain errors that happen. Because a lot of people, in terms of, there's an ever-growing market of people utilizing TurboTax and, in terms of the different available tax softwares out there, and that they've, maybe had gone to someone else, and then all of a sudden, and given in terms of some thought and looking through it, that, something just, wasn't done correctly, or they just want a fresh look.
Or they were listening to Ron Siegel Radio with William Rogers here sharing information, and they learned something new.
Yeah.
Right? What else you got for us today, William?
Well, basically, as we're kind of looking in terms of in right now, is that where a lot of people have been getting a bit caught and surprised is that they've had a chance for the new tax law to kind of digest, and now people are sitting down to do their taxes, is they're kind of rethinking their withholding, because a lot of people were coming under the expectation that they're going to have a refund, a much larger refund, because they are always basing it on their prior year history, and then they came in and that they had less of a refund in doing the withholding. So right now, before we get on too far into the year, people have to re-look at simultaneously what their withholding is. So that's absolutely imperative.
So I know my opinion of this. What are your thoughts? Higher withholding, lower withholding? Does it have any bearing on your likelihood of an audit?
No, has zero bearing. What can happen is, in the extreme circumstances, and you and I always see it, where people try to go to the edge. I go to my employer and say I'm exempt, or have absolutely low withholding, put 10, 15 allowances, and then year after year they have large balances due. Those people can basically have a block where the IRS will send an order to the employer stating that this is their filing status and withholding that's regimented.
Wow.
But for most people, in terms of if they owe and they're comfortable with it, it doesn't necessarily increase the likelihood of an audit. Whereas people who, for what we call a term of forced savings, like the peace of mind of getting a refund, that doesn't enhance in terms of in the refund. It boils down to, as you kind of would indicate as a consumer advocate, is do you like the forced savings approach, or do you want to basically pay in the least amount without incurring penalty but hold on to my money?
So I like the idea of trying to get as close to zero as possible, but I never want to, I don't want to set any red flags. Maybe you can throw a couple of red flags that we want to watch out for, especially as you suggest. A lot of people are doing those the online taxes.
Well, the key is what we're looking at when we're talking in the term of basically making estimated tax payments. Most people who are wage earners have withholding, so thus they don't make estimated tax payments. So the thought process is, as you always convey to a client, is if your balance due is less than $1,000, then you can basically pay the tax that's due. But if it's going to be greater than $1,000, then thus the person would be required to make estimated tax payments to avoid what we call an underpayment penalty. So that's what they have to kind of watch out for.
So $1,000 is the
threshold for avoiding what we call an underpayment penalty of estimated tax payments.
Interesting. Okay, so make sure you owe less than $1,000.
Yeah. And obviously, in terms of for those people who, try to basically pay in taxes, we usually try to have it paid in via withholding versus estimated tax payments, because on estimated tax payments, we have in terms of these times, like for example, first quarter is April 15th, second quarter is June 15th. Some people get out of sequence. They pay April 15th and all of a sudden they forget and they pay June 30th and not June 15th. Withholding is always considered timely.
Okay.
So those are other little key tips of avoiding unnecessary penalties. It's not that people are avoiding paying taxes, they just are not paying it timely.
So go and make sure you get that set up with your automated banking system so you schedule that not to miss them. We're going to continue our conversation. William Rogers is in the house, and we're going to chat with him further about how we can save taxes. Maybe we can avoid that audit. We'll see what we can do with that when we come back. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. 2 reports say that now is a great time to sell your house. And what are microloans? We're going to talk about all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1, on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of homes you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million. 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Also, if you want to know if you're a nosy neighbor, and a lot of us are nosy neighbors, if you want to know what any house in your neighborhood just sold for, get on that NEST application. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Just request a notification when a property in your neighborhood sells. That is the NEST application. Heading into the spring buying market, there are strong trends starting to emerge. The inventory of homes for sale has increased on a year-over-year basis for 8 months in a row. Home price appreciation has continued to grow, although at a slower rate. It is still growing. The home ownership rate has reached heights last seen in 2014, with millennials and Gen X leading the way. Let's dive a little deeper into some of the recent reports that have been released and what they mean for the spring buying season. Number one, the National Association of Realtors Existing Home Sales Report. Sales of existing homes were down for the third consecutive month in January. Some of this can be explained by the natural seasonality that the real estate market experiences every year, and some can be explained even further by a lack of homes available for sale on the market. For the last 8 months, the inventory of homes for sale has been higher when compared to the same month the year before. The challenge in the market is the mismatch of type of home that is available for sale. First-time home buyers looking for a starter home are often competing with other buyers to stand out, often outbidding each other. Lawrence Yoon, NAR's chief economist, agrees that the market is still experiencing an inventory shortage. Quote, in particular, the lower end of the market has experienced a greater shortage and the more home construction is needed, unquote. Home prices. The median home price for homes sold in January, national number, $247,500. This is up 2.8% from January 2018 and marks the 83rd consecutive month of year-over-year gains. 2.8% growth in home prices represents the smallest year-over-year change since February 2012, but is welcome change for buyers. Days on the market. Properties that sold in January were on the market for an average of 49 days, with 38% of the homes on the market for less than a month. Yoon is positive about how today's market conditions will help buyers this spring. Again, I quote, existing home sales in January were weak compared to historical norms. However, they are likely to have reached a cyclical low. Moderating home prices combined with gains in household income will boost housing affordability, bringing more buyers to the market in the coming months. NAR's pending home sales report, the National Pending Home Sales Index, rose 4.6% to 103.2 in January from 98.7% in December. Remember the wealth effect that we've been talking about. All 4 major regions of the country experienced gains in January, with the largest increase coming in the South. Increases in the PHSI often predict increases in the level of home sales in the coming months, which is great news for the housing market leading into the spring, according to Yoon. Again, the bottom line, the housing market in 2019 will require homeowners to list their house at the right price to attract buyers. If interest rates continue to stay low while wages increase and more inventory comes to the market, 2019 could be one of the best years for home sales in recent history. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. We're continuing our conversation. William Rogers is in the house. Ascend Business Advisory is the name of the company. So we've been chatting about ways maybe you can save some money. But William, let's talk a little bit about income timing. I thought you had to just take it when you got it.
Well, the challenge is that a lot of people sometimes, who get variable income or get a big year-end bonus, they get really frustrated because they see the net paycheck, how much is taken out. And that's
when they only have one thing to say at that time, right? Right? I mean, that's
exactly. And, that's where people start wondering why they take out so much, and part of it tends to happen because you got one large chunk at one time, as opposed to that it was broken out over a series of time or various pay periods. So often, when these bonuses are happening at year end, you may not have much wiggle room to put any more pre-tax in your flexible savings account, your 401k, so on and so forth. So what I often recommend is you may want to try and negotiate with the employer is that is deferred comp that you recognize in the following year, that you recognize some. I always try to educate my clients as to know where each bracket cuts off and to know where you're at before you get in the next bracket, because obviously that bonus is getting taxed because it's already the last part of the dollars you've been making in the year. So at those incremental, that for much of the year you're at 22 and then you're jumping up to 28%, that bonus is getting hit at 28%.
Sure.
So obviously
you get a little upset then.
Right. So then it may just behoove us, instead of recognizing the current year, you defer it when the year runs out into the next year and you bring it in. Then I can pre-fund my 401k, my FSA, and then kind of keep some of my net taxable income down.
And that's legal to do that?
Of course.
Okay.
The law says is that if I don't have constructive receipt of the income, it's not taxable in that year. Okay. Doesn't mean I'm going to wipe it away. I'm just deferring it.
Cool. I like that idea. And then that gives somebody like you a chance to say, here are some things that we can do to
help you net out more.
That.
Yeah,
right.
To help you net out more. It's, in other words, we're just trying to push it out a little bit.
So it's not like you're going to, you have an opportunity then. One way you just get the bill and that's all you can do.
Right.
The other way you can say, okay, well, go buy another house or buy a car or whatever their unique situation is.
Yeah, the challenge that people a lot of times get with year-end bonuses is we're already maxed out. We can't pay more in the flexible savings account, the HSA. We don't have much left we can contribute in the 401k, and we're already at the last of the dollars we've been earning on our salary. So these incremental dollars are taxed at the highest bracket as we're getting up that next rung. So we want to kind of try and now move it into the new year where we can start to pre-fund the 401k, the FSA, and some of those, and then also too kind of spread it out between taxable years.
So when you talk about pre-funding the 401k, why does that benefit me if you pre-fund it? I mean, it seems like whether I put it in the last day of the month of the year or the first day of the next year, isn't it have the same effect?
Well, what I mean in terms of pre-funding it is that I'm trying to recognize instead of the income in the current year into the next year. And so because we're starting to basically our salary clock starts all over. We start earning month 1, month 2, and then we start making contributions of 401k. I'm going to try and contribute up to the max as I can, because a lot of people set 5 or 10% of what their salary is into the 401k. So that's what I mean by as much of my bonus that I've already planned out go into the 401k, go into those flexible spending accounts to kind of take advantage of that. That's where I'm trying to split between the 2 years.
Okay, so if I put it into that 401k, then I minimize that withholding. Correct. Until later in life when I might have, or I have some other opportunities. The big question mark for later in life means, or the big risk, I guess, for that is we know what today's tax laws are. If you're 55 years old, you probably don't know what the tax laws are going to be when you're 70, right? So that's obviously a question mark that you just have to.
That's always the opportunity cost that people make, but what we're just trying to do is essentially help them, keep more in the current year.
Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. So what else? And again, that goes back to the same thing that you and I have talked about many, many times on the broadcast, is you got to chat with somebody like William early in the year, right? In April, we're talking, all you're doing is reporting.
We're reporting, and then we're also kind of reviewing what people have done so we can look to kind of correct some errors or some things that are basically forgotten. When you get in terms of, the years over and what's still left is basically, and you hear it ad nauseum from almost anywhere in town is, well, you can still make a contribution to your IRA, your SEP, your simple plan, and your retirement account and still have it count for last year. But if you're not in terms of in that category, then there isn't a whole lot that you can essentially do.
Well, we're going to continue. Let's get some more ideas. So, income timing. That is one of the strategies that we got this morning from William Rogers. We'll talk with him some more when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. What are microloans? We'll talk about that when we come back as well. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by our friends at Blue Water Credit. When you're ready for that next credit report and you need some help, you're looking to get a loan, Blue Water Credit, they are the ones I recommend you go to see about them helping you minimize your interest rates by increasing, maximizing, correcting your credit scores. What is a microloan? Short-term, small loan that you can use to meet financial needs for your business. If you're self-employed, you may need cash quickly, but not enough to justify taking out a big loan. Maybe you need the money to pay your workers or to pay for a marketing campaign. You think you'll increase your sales margins. Whatever the case, there's a good chance that you'd rather consider taking a short-term loan that it is easy to get at a lower interest rate. A short-term loan like this is typically referred to as a microloan. Typically, microloans can be anywhere from $500 to about $50,000. Borrowers can use the money for different purposes, including buying inventory, buying or servicing machines, buying office supplies and equipment, paying employee wages. Microloans are typically faster to apply for than a traditional business loan. One of the most significant advantages that come with applying for a microloan is that you may still be able to qualify for one, even without a business credit score. This is because microloans are typically used for new businesses to help get them up and running. Not only are microloans designed to help small business owners and entrepreneurs make ends meet, but they're also available to minority-owned businesses and borrowers that cannot get any other funding for their startups. There are SBA microloans that just stay away from these speedy cash and people like that. That's a big issue. Those are usurious loans. Try and stay away from those, but the microloans can be beneficial. Yeah, they're going to be run 8 to 13% is going to be your norm for that. Just a thought for you right there. That is the Your Credit Matters segment today, brought to you by our friends over at Blue Water Credit. Continuing our conversation this morning, William Rogers is in the house talking about, how about some missing deductions, William? Is there some of those that we can talk about today?
Yeah, so that has been the biggest topic of conversation lately under this new tax laws. People are sitting down is that, there's been a lot of, pushback and people airing their frustration of all the various deductions that have been eliminated. And the biggest one where people are getting upset about are the out-of-pocket expenses that they incur for their work. Because of the nature of the work, they have to drive around, they have to travel, they may have they may have union dues, they may have professional licenses and things like that that are necessary for their work. And so under this new tax law, those deductions have essentially been eliminated. So what we have been advising is, well, this is where you need to go to your employer and basically state that since I'm out of pocket for these, we would want you to reimburse us. The purpose is that the business will get the deduction. That's not eliminated under the tax law. It's just for individuals. And the other double benefit is that as the individual presents their expenses and get reimbursed, it's not income to them. It's tax-free. So it's a win-win situation.
Other than the fact that the business has to pay the net difference. Right? I mean,
Correct.
If the business is in a 30% tax bracket and you turn in a $1,000 bill, they're still out $700.
Pretty much, but you know, for a long running time is that, you know, obviously employees didn't have much negotiating power or in terms of negotiating leverage to basically go out and state to their employer, where employers state, well, you're in a sales job, you're going to incur a lot of out-of-pocket expenses as an outside salesperson, or you're a contractor, a carpenter, and you have to go and incur those expenses. I think that as we've tried to digest some of the economic news, is that we have to recognize there's a tight labor market. Employees kind of have to push back. Besides just what we call salary, the overall other aspects is the overall burden or costs of the job, and essentially go and lobby and advocate for themselves. They need to be reimbursed if they work from home, if they're using.
So give me a smaller salary, or give me a salary, but part of my salary needs to be $1,000 a month in expense reimbursement, or whatever the number might be.
And I think that is a very good middle ground that is, in terms of for some employees, you'd be better off taking a little bit of a smaller salary, but having the difference made up in reimbursements, because if you have a higher salary, which is after tax money, you still have to go incur those out-of-pocket expenses, whereas you can just basically get some of those expenses tax-free and have the same cash flow.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, there's been some question marks as to some of your expenses. I mean, if I start my own business, even though it's maybe not exactly the same industry, if I have a just for lack of any better term, if I have an Amway business and you and I go out for lunch, and even though we're talking mostly about the radio program, and I say, hey, William, something, I do have this soap, does that make it a business expense?
The real conundrum is when we're talking about these sideline businesses, and particularly in the network marketing cases, is they're often viewed or perceived as hobbies.
Okay.
That they're not a real business pursuit for an economic motive, or in terms of an eventual gain. And so that is the biggest area of where you're subject to attack, is that, let's say for example, you have predominantly a W-2 wage job, but yet you have an Amway business. Is the whole intent to basically build up a business, make it a viable going concern? Are you going to eventually leave your job? Well, in most of these situations, it is just one of those sideline activities that oftentimes people are looking for a means to lower their taxes as opposed to generate profits. So what happens in those events, those cases, is that usually all the deductions get disallowed.
Now, what if the deductions bring it to a zero activity, right? So I earned $1,000 in my Amway business, just throwing that out as a hypothetical, because I'm not in Amway, and I don't, I'm not saying whether it's good or bad, but say I earned $1,000 in my Amway business, but I can then throw in deductions that I might not have otherwise been able to use. I have to claim that at $1,000.
Yeah, that's plausible. Is that in a typical true hobby, is that your deductions would be limited to the income that you made.
Okay, so then I'm okay then.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to what we call manufacture losses. That the primary motive is to offset my other income.
Gotcha. Okay, so we obviously, every reason I ask all these things to William, and I should throw this out there before we go too far, is that this is not guidance for you. William is just trying to educate us when I throw these questions at him. They're all hypothetical, right? So I want to make sure that if you understand that, if you want specific guidance, that's what William does to support his family. You can call me at 800-306-1990. Be happy to put you in touch with William Rogers so he can work with you and help you in that arena. But that's the whole idea here. And obviously we want to just try and find out all the places. We learned, William, that Amazon made $11 billion in profit and paid no taxes. And the idea there is, something good for them. They hired people like you who understand the tax laws and applied them.
Correct.
Right? So that's what we're looking forward to you for, what are the areas that we can apply, right?
And that was also part of when they had that big beauty contest of looking for their second headquarters, was also to try and navigate around where they can get and essentially kind of cajole the best tax incentives from the states and localities that they were choosing. That was another big motive for them.
But that's what the ownership is supposed to do, right? I mean, they're supposed to go out there and try and find the best opportunity for their shareholders,
the most favorable position, so they can generate the highest after-tax return.
Yeah, and I'm not against that. I mean, I look at these things and say, something, more power to them. That they're doing a good job, right? So the idea here is we're asking William some different areas, different ideas, and he's sharing us ideas. You can save money. And the idea here is to do everything you The law, basically, my understanding, William, is that you don't have to pay anything more than the law says.
That's correct. You just pay basically what you're able to take all lawful deductions.
And if you want, I mean, I love listening to Bill Gates and Warren Buffett saying that we should pay more. I don't see them volunteering to send an extra check. Right, and they're not obligated to, but if you feel that you should, why not? I wouldn't want to deprive them.
That's been one of the criticisms of Howard Schultz. A lot of people kind of get up there and talk about they have various ideas, but they don't necessarily volunteer to pay more.
Right. Interesting. It's fascinating, and we're going to continue watching these issues. That we're in the tax time right now. If you want to meet William Rogers, give me a call, 800-306-1990. Be happy to put you in touch with him. He's on our social media channels. You can find him there as well. And be sure to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending some time with us. Again, if you have any questions or want to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.